Hello everyone and welcome to College Football Chronicles, where I am reviewing the best coach for every single FBS team in the nation, including the two teams moving up for the 2025 season. I decided to do this in alphabetical order instead of by conference due to the constant changes, or by region due to it being so uneven. Now, here are the guidelines I will be using for this list. Most schools should be pretty clear and based on numbers and facts. Some will need other deciding tiebreakers, so to be clear, this will be the best coach in school history for the program itself and limited only to that program, not the best coach to ever run through there. For example, Nick Saban will not be the choice for the Toledo Rockets, despite his one solid 9-2 season at the helm. This list is also not limited to the FBS time period itself, and schools can and will have coaches who coached before the team was in the FBS or before college and university divisions were even a thing. The decision factor takes into account overall record, winning percentage, coaching awards, and championships. If there's still some debate after those things were accounted for, we will look at the ones that was most impactful or most cherished by the school and its fans. How many pro players did they develop? Are there streets and buildings named after him? Is there a statue of him? If somehow we still don't have a clear-cut name after all of that, I will just have to make a final decision based on my own opinion, which I hate to do, but if it comes to that point, I will make the fairest call I think I can, or at least explain myself in my choice. If at any point you feel I got it wrong, or missed something glaringly obvious, feel free to absolutely destroy me in the comments, and I will try to be better next time, because all I really want in life is to be a better person to my YouTube audience. With all that said, let's get into this one. Cincinnati, a solid program, especially in recent years. In their history, they have had 4 Hall of Fame coaches and other notable names such as Butch Jones, Tommy Tuberville, Brian Kelly, and Sid Gilman, who I would probably consider my runner-up. The best Bearcats coach of all time is Luke Fickell. Fickell played nose guard at Ohio State from 1993 to 1996, where he was a 2-time second-team All-Big Ten. In 1997, he went undrafted but signed as a free agent, but never really got a chance after tearing his ACL. He came back to Ohio State as a graduate assistant in 1999 before leaving to coach the defensive line at Akron in 2000 and 2001. From there, he returned once again to Ohio State in 2002 through 2016 as first a special teams coach, then a linebackers coach / co-defensive coordinator, an interim head coach in 2011, and back to his previous role after that. The man was really loyal to his school and even got a national title ring with the 2014 squad. He was finally given the head coaching job at Cincinnati in 2017 and did not disappoint. After an understandably rough first season, Fickell got the team going in 2018. The team started 6-0 before losing an overtime game to Temple to eventually finish 11-2 with a Military Bowl win versus Virginia Tech, but falling just short to UCF in the conference title race. 2019 was also mostly a success despite a blowout loss to number 5 Ohio State and back-to-back losses to Memphis. They would still finish with another bowl win over Boston College to finish 11-3 and were ranked number 21 in both the final AP and coaches poll. In a shortened COVID 2020 season, the team went undefeated in the regular season to claim the American Athletic Conference Championship, but lost to Georgia 24-21 on a last-second 53-yard field goal in the Peach Bowl to finish 9-1 and ranked number 8 in both the AP and coaches poll. In 2021, Fickell and the Bearcats put it all together to pull off the best season in school history. The team opened the season ranked number 8 and proceeded to go undefeated in the regular season, including a big win over number 9 Notre Dame on the road. Now ranked 4th going into the conference championship game, Cincinnati handled number 21 Houston 35-20 and became the first ever Group of 5 team to make the college football playoffs. In that playoff game, however, they ran into number 1 Alabama, and they never really had a chance, losing 27-6 to end the season 13-1. Fickell would hang around one more season, going 9-3 in 2022, but left before the bowl game to take over at Wisconsin. In his 6 seasons, he led the team to a 57-18 record, where he won a number of coaching awards that I'll throw up on the screen right now instead of listing them all. As of this recording, Luke is 13-13, entering his 3rd full season at Wisconsin. Clemson, an above-average team in the history of the college football landscape, and have seen coaches such as Tommy Bowden, Frank Howard, and even John Heisman. In 1981, Danny Ford even led the team to a 1981 national championship. The program would remain pretty good until one coach brought them to a whole new level, and continues to do that to this day at the time of recording, of course. Dabo Swinney has literally changed the program from good to great in his long tenure with the Tigers. Swinney played wide receiver for Alabama from 1990 to 1992, only actually catching 7 passes for 81 yards, but did get a national championship ring in his senior year. In 1993, he joined the Alabama coaching staff as a graduate assistant, working his way up to wide receivers and tight ends in 1996 through 2000. He then moved on to Clemson, where he primarily coached wide receivers before working his way up to head coach in 2009, after 7 games as interim head coach in 2008. Things really started to pick up for Dabo in 2011, where he won the ACC for the first time and began a string of 12 seasons of 10 wins or more. The first step into living legend status came in 2015 when he led the Tigers to an undefeated regular season, followed by an ACC title game victory over number 10 North Carolina and a college football playoff victory over number 4 Oklahoma. Clemson would fall just short in the national title game, 45-40 to Alabama, however, to finish 14-1, their best in school history to that point. The following season, in 2016, the team started 9-0 before losing by 1 point to Pittsburgh in mid-November. They would finish out the regular season unscathed and then took care of Virginia Tech 42-35 in the ACC title game. In the first round of the college football playoffs, they blew out Ohio State 31-0 to set up a national championship game rematch with number 1 Alabama. With 1 second remaining, Deshaun Watson hit the immortal Hunter Renfrow, who played like 11 years of college football, by the way, to clinch the 35-31 win and capture the national title for the first time in 35 years, finishing 14-1. The 2017 team went through the regular season with only 1 loss to Syracuse, won the ACC again over number 7 Miami, but lost in yet another playoff game versus Alabama, this time in the first round, 24-6. In 2018, Clemson achieved perfection, beating everyone in the regular season, then blew out Pittsburgh 42-10 in the ACC championship, and blew out number 3 Notre Dame in the first round of the playoffs 30-3 to set up, I shit you not, a 4th meeting in the postseason with number 1 Alabama. What happened next was a bit unexpected. Clemson absolutely dismantled the Crimson Tide 44-16 to win another national title and finish 15-0 for the first time of anyone since Penn went 15-0 in 1897. Coach Sweeney got the team back to the playoffs undefeated with another ACC title over Virginia and a semifinal win over Ohio State in 2019, but ran into the buzzsaw that was LSU in the national title game, losing 42-25. The 2020 team again made the playoffs, but were blown out in the first round, 49-28 by Ohio State in their 3rd playoff matchup. The 2021 ended the 6-year playoff run as the team went 10-3. The Tigers returned to the newly expanded playoffs in 2024 as the 12 seed, but lost to Texas 38-24 in the first round. As of this recording, Dabo Sweeney is 180-47, which is the most wins in school history, and has won nearly 80% of his games. He is also 109-24 in ACC play. He has won a lot of coaching awards that should be on the screen now, and at the age of 55, probably has a lot of awards he has yet to win. After Nick Saban's retirement from Alabama after the 2023 season, he was heavily linked to that opening, but decided to remain loyal to Clemson and will forever be a coaching legend, regardless of what happens in the future. Entering the 2025 season, Clemson is again projected to be in the hunt for a playoff appearance, but we will see how that idea goes soon enough. Coastal Carolina. The Chanticleers football team is an infant in the grand scheme of things, only starting a football program in 2003, and as such, has only had 4 full-time head coaches. Unlike some other young programs, however, every one of those coaches had or currently have a winning record. In fact, the coaching staff already has 10 coaching awards to its name. Honestly, 3 of the 4 head coaches are deserving here, having all won conference championships. Despite David Bennett winning 4 Big South titles as the school's first head coach, and despite Jamie Chadwell winning 1 at the FBS level, I have chosen to give a very slight edge to Joe Moglia. Moglia is actually known as a businessman as much as a coach and did not play football in college at Fordham or Delaware, where he earned his degrees. He began his coaching career at the high school level when he was an assistant in 1968. From there, he ascended to head coach at a high school in Delaware and then Pennsylvania. He would move up the college ranks in 1978 as a defensive coordinator at Dartmouth for 3 seasons. After the 1983 season, Joe left coaching and amazingly spent 17 years on Wall Street as an executive for Merrill Lynch and TD Ameritrade, where his crew was responsible for client assets growing from $24 billion to $300 billion. There's some other boring stuff, yet remarkably impressive in this regard, but let's just put it this way. He was very successful and very rich by the time he left Wall Street in 2008. In 2009, he became an assistant for Nebraska, and in 2010, the head coach for the UFL's Virginia Destroyers. In 2011, he became the president for the UFL's Omaha Nighthawks. The UFL went under, of course, and now we get to Coastal. After writing all of this, it isn't going to sound as impressive as the lead up to all of this. But in 2012, Moglia took over for CCU, going 8-5 in his first season and making it to the second round of the SCS playoffs, winning a share of the Big South Conference. In 2013, he did even better, starting 9-0 and rising to a number 5 ranking in the FCS before losing a close one to number 18 Charleston Southern. They would then drop one more to FBS number 12 South Carolina by a score they'd rather probably forget and also didn't hurt their FCS standings anyway. The Chants beat number 12 Bethune-Cookman in the first round of the FCS playoffs 48-24, and then beat number 4 Montana 42-35 in the second round. Unfortunately, they would run into the immovable object number 1 North Dakota State in the quarterfinals and lose 48-14 to finish 12-3 with another Big South championship. 2014 was pretty similar as they began 11-0 and rose to number 1 in the FCS rankings before losing by 1 point to Liberty. They defeated number 18 Richmond in the second round of the FCS playoffs 36-15 before again running into number 2 North Dakota State, this time losing a more respectable 39-32 to the eventual national champions. They finished the 2014 season with a third straight conference title with a 12-2 record. While 2015's 9-3 team sounds like a bit of a drop-off, they still started 7-0 and held a number 2 ranking for 6 weeks. This team would not win the conference and had a first-round FCS playoff exit. The 2016 team did really well at 10-2, but were in the midst of transitioning to the FBS level and were ineligible for the postseason and no longer belonged to a conference. Joe took a leave of absence for the 2017 season due to medical reasons and missed out on the Chants' first FBS season, which funny enough preserved some of his winning percentage as they went 3-9 without him. He was medically cleared to return the following season, but after a 5-7 2018 season, he retired for good. In his career, he went 56-22, which gives him the best winning percentage in school history at nearly 72%. Along with 3 Big South titles, Moglia won a number of coaching honors that I'll throw up on the screen now, which includes his induction into the State of South Carolina's Football Hall of Fame. After stepping down, Joe gave Coastal Carolina a huge donation that helped build the $20 million indoor practice facility that just opened in June of 2025. And the gift must have been quite huge because it has helped finance a few other athletic facility projects. Now, I can see why it seems like I gave Coastal this guy as my pick because he has such a unique story. But I gave him the slight edge over his successor Jamie Chadwell due to his better winning percentage and FCS playoff runs. I can definitely see the argument for Chadwell, however, as he won a conference title at the FBS level, the school's first bowl game, and even got the 2020 team to an 11-1 record, with the only loss coming in the bowl game. And since moving over to Liberty, he's now gone at 21-5 and is obviously the better coach overall. You know what? I may have fucked up on this one as I read this out loud. Oh well, I'll stand by it. A salute to you, Joe, and I'll take my L in the comments if you guys decide to give me one here. Colorado. No, don't even think it or say it. While Coach Prime is the most famous of all their coaches, he's actually only 13-12 overall, only has 1 winning season, and has not won a conference title or bowl game. He has coached a Heisman winner, but there have been some very average coaches with Heisman winners under their belt. Maybe that's an idea I'll cover in a future video. Give Deion some more prime time, and his 2025 recruiting class was ranked 38th, so if he can improve that some, you never know. There have been a few good coaches at Colorado, like Fred Folsom, but I won't go too much into all that because our guy here is Bill McCartney, and his story with the Buffs is the wildest series of events I've ever heard in college football. And if anyone's seen the ESPN 30 for 30 on the subject, you already know what I'm talking about. I'll try to summarize the best I can in this entry, but please go watch that documentary. It is bizarre. William Paul McCartney, yeah, you heard that right. And wait till I tell you that he later married Lindy, which is eerily close to Linda McCartney. Bill played for the Missouri Tigers from 1959 to 1961 and went into coaching as a high school assistant in his native Michigan in 1965. He would continue at the high school level until 1974 when he became the defensive ends coach at Michigan. He would rise up to defensive coordinator in 1977, where he remained until taking the Colorado head job in 1982. Coach Mack got off to a slow start, but got the team going by 1985 when the team went 7-5 for his first winning season. The team stayed around that mark until the team exploded in 1989, but hold tight, the drama actually began the previous season in 1988. While the team only went 8-4 that season, they had brought in a lot of good talent and were indeed expecting big things in 1989. Among the promising young talent was 1985 high school All-American Sal Anasi, who after sitting out his first season for academic reasons, became the starter in 1987 and 1988, where he won Big 8 Conference's Newcomer of the Year. Now, back to 1989. A few months after the 1988 season, in early 1989, Sal began vomiting blood, and it was discovered he had a rare inoperable stomach cancer. Oh, and before all this, he impregnated Coach McCartney's daughter. So here we have a terminally ill star player who is soon to be the father of the coach's daughter. How would the team respond? Easy. The best season in school history to that point, and still tied with the record to this day. The team began the season with wins over Texas, Colorado State, and number 10 Illinois. Shortly before the fourth game, Sal died from his disease at the age of 21, leaving behind his 5-month-old son. Colorado then proceeded to win out the rest of the regular season with key wins over number 21 Washington, Oklahoma, and a huge win over number 3 Nebraska to close out the regular season 11-0 with a Big 8 conference championship. Now ranked number 1 in the country, the Buffs took on Notre Dame for the national title in the Orange Bowl. In that game, what seemed like a destined fairy tale ending to a sad story was crushed by the Irish, winning 21-6. The Buffaloes entered the 1990 season ranked number 5, but a 31-31 tie with number 8 Tennessee in Game 1 and a 23-22 loss at number 21 Illinois in Game 3 dropped them to number 20 early in the season. They responded by beating the likes of number 22 Texas, number 12 Washington, number 22 Oklahoma, and number 3 Nebraska to close out the regular season 10-1-1 with another conference title. And don't you worry, Colorado haters, I am going to talk about that game you thought I just skimmed over. In Game 6, on that schedule, was a game at Missouri that Colorado actually lost, though the refs handed them a win. Trailing 27-31, the Buffs were driving down the field to try and win the game. Nearing the end zone, with the clock running out, Colorado spiked the ball on first down. On second down, Colorado ran the ball for a short gain where the runner was stopped at the goal line. Colorado called a timeout, and the down marker was never flipped. During the timeout, some, including the chain crew, were distracted as a nearby fan suffered a fatal heart attack. On third down, with the marker now showing second down, Eric Bieniemy was stuffed at the goal line again. On fourth down, Colorado lined up and spiked the ball. Turnover on downs and game over, right? Every fan and coach seemed to think so, because in reality, it was so. But the refs had completely missed it, and on fifth down, Colorado ran it in with 0 seconds left to win the game. After the game, everyone realized this was all a huge mistake, and when Coach Mack was asked if he would forfeit the game, he said he thought about it, but the field was lousy and they deserved a break. Not a great look, but we would all probably take the win in his position too. The entire officiating crew was suspended for a mere week, and this has been considered one of the biggest blunders in college football history. Coach Mack would admit remorse for the mistakes he made in that game shortly after his retirement in 1998. Anyways, back to the season. Colorado is 10-1-1, going into the Orange Bowl again as the number 1 ranked team to face number 5 Notre Dame. This time, Colorado would hang on for the 10-9 win and were voted national champions by most of the polls. The coaches poll, who I can assume had a few Missouri fans on it, voted Georgia Tech as the national champions, who were actually 11-0-1 and defeated 4 ranked teams along the way. A tough call, but it was almost unanimous for Colorado, so it is what it is. I'm not going to defend Tech for personal fandom reasons anyways. The 1991 team would again win a share of the Big 8 Conference, but didn't come very close to another national title, with losses to Baylor, Stanford, and Alabama, and a tie with Nebraska to finish 8-3-1. Over the next few years, the team came somewhat close to glory, but couldn't add any more team hardware. They fell short in 1992 with a blowout loss to Nebraska and a bowl loss. They suffered 3 losses and a tie in 1993, and despite an 11-1 season in 1994, the one loss was to consensus national champion Nebraska, keeping them out of the conference title and national title scene, though they did finish number 3 in the final coaches and AP polls. Coach McCartney confessed to cheating on his wife 20 years prior during his struggles with alcohol shortly before his final game, which tore up his marriage and caused him to retire. In the documentary, he claimed that his wife didn't talk to him for an entire year. Bill retired after the 1994 season to focus on his marriage with a 93, 55, and 5 record, which is the most in Colorado history. He's also responsible for the best 3 seasons in school history and 3 out of the 5 teams' Big 8 titles. Coach Mack went on to create the Promise Keepers men's ministry and was very active in the religious community before and during his retirement. The previously mentioned infant in this story, T.C. McCartney, went on to play quarterback just like his dad at LSU under Les Miles, the person who actually recruited his dad to Colorado in the first place, and he got a national title ring as part of the 2007 team, even as a redshirt, and would never actually see the field as he was relegated to the practice squad for his entire career. He went on to coach as mostly an assistant or quarterbacks coach for the Cleveland Browns, San Francisco 49ers, LSU, Colorado, Denver Broncos, and New England Patriots, where he was just released after the 2024 season. Back to Grandpa. Coach Mack won a number of coaching awards that should be on the screen now, and in 2013 was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Coach Mack died in January of 2025 at the age of 84. Colorado State. This really came down to only two guys, because between them, they won 14 out of the 15 of the Rams' total conference championships and account for nearly half the team's all-time total wins. While these two guys are nearly even in my eyes, Harry Hughes, despite his 8 conference championships and school record 126 wins, benefited from coaching in the early days against lower competition and coached 17 seasons longer than my pick, Sonny Lubick. Sonny did not have a collegiate playing career, but the Butte, Montana native began coaching high school in his hometown from 1962 to 1969 before moving up to the college ranks at Montana State as a backfield coach for the 1970 season. He then served as defensive coordinator for the Bobcats from 1971 to 1977 and took over as head coach from 1978 to 1981. He arrived at Colorado State first in 1982 as an offensive coordinator, where he remained until 1984. He then went to Stanford as a positions coach from 1985 to 1988 before landing at Miami, where he was the defensive coordinator and linebackers coach from 1989 to 1992, where he won 2 national championships. He returned to Fort Collins in 1993, where he finished out his career as head coach for the Rams. After an average first season, he led the team to a 10-2 record in 1994 with key wins over number 22 BYU and number 6 Arizona, and won the WAC. The Rams would win another share of the conference title along with 3 other teams in 1995 despite an 8-4 record. In 1997, Coach Lubick brought the team to its best season still to this day. Despite losing 2 of the first 4 games to rivals Colorado and Air Force, CSU would not lose again to finish 11-2 with another WAC title and a Holiday Bowl victory over number 19 Missouri, finishing the season ranked number 16 in the coaches poll and number 17 in the AP. A pair of 8-4 seasons in 1998 and 1999 brought another conference title to Fort Collins in the latter year, only now in the Mountain West Conference. In 2000, the team reached double-digit wins for the 3rd time in school history, all under Lubick. The team knocked off number 23 Colorado in the opener, but lost to Arizona State 2 weeks later. The Rams then won 6 straight before dropping another game to Air Force. After clinching their second Mountain West title, the team defeated number 22 Louisville in the Liberty Bowl to finish 10-2 with a final ranking of 15 and 14 in the coaches and AP polls respectively. This was, and still is to this day, the highest ever final AP ranking for the Rams. The team would hit 10 wins one final time under Coach Lubick in 2002. This season was again highlighted by a Game 2 upset over number 7 Colorado. Despite losing to UCLA, Fresno State, UNLV, and TCU in the Liberty Bowl, the team again won the Mountain West at 10-4. Sonny only had one more winning season before he was eventually fired after a 3-9 season in 2007. He finished his career with a 108-74 record and led the team to 4 of its best 5 seasons in school history to date, and also led the team to 9 of its 18 bowl appearances to date, despite only winning 3 of them, and 6 conference championships, which is almost half of their all-time total. Coach Lubick was named Mountain West Coach of the Year twice in 1999 and 2000. After retiring, he opened up the Sonny Lubick Steakhouse, which, despite having never eaten there personally during my numerous trips to Fort Collins, has a 4.3-star rating on Google Reviews, so it seems like a pretty good place. That's going to be all for this one. Again, I am or have already done these for every single FBS team, so please go check out the other ones. This has been Chris of College Football Chronicles, and I hope you join me for another video.